And we're live. Welcome, everyone. It is 5 o'clock, right on the nose, and we are going to call closed session to order. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak, or is any correspondence received on any closed session items?
There are none.
All right. The City Council will now recess to closed session. It is 5 o'clock and 23 seconds. Good evening, everyone. We are live. That was our theme song. Pretty exciting stuff. Everybody's fired up for City Council. I appreciate it. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Mr. City Attorney, do we have anything to report out of closed session?
Not tonight, Mayor.
All right. Madam Clerk, have you received any correspondence on tonight's agenda?
No correspondence has been received.
Thank you very much. Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Dinas.
Here.
Councilmember Diedrich.
Here.
Councilmember Temple.
Here.
Acting Mayor Carwin.
Here.
And Mayor Estrada is absent.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moving on to our words of inspiration, we have Janet Ringelman from VFW Post 1956. Would you please come to the podium?
Yes.
And inspire us.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good evening, council members, distinguished guests, neighbors, and friends. It is my profound honor to stand before you as a veteran, to reflect on those who have worn the uniform, who have stood the watch over our freedom, and who have carried the very spirit of our nation in their hearts. When I see our flag, I do not see fabric. I see the living reflection of the men and women who dare to stand for liberty. Its colors are not mere symbols. They are truths written in courage and sacrifice. The red reminds us of the cost, of the blood shed on distant fields, of the valor tested when freedom stood on the edge of peril. The white reminds us of character, of integrity that outlives the battlefield, of duty performed not for recognition, but because it was right. And the blue is our unity. It is the calm after the storm, the bond that endures between those who serve and the nation they protect. And above it all, the stars. The stars remind us of every soul who has stood in service to this great nation. They shine for those who answered the call, for those who never made it home, and for those who still carry the torch of freedom today. They remind us that even in the darkest night, America's light endures because of the men and women who chose to keep it burning. Our veterans are the living embodiment of that flag. They are the red that bleeds for freedom, the white that holds this nation steady, and the blue that binds us together indivisible in our shared purpose. When it waves with their devotion. When it stands tall, it stands upon their sacrifice. And when it is folded and placed onto the hands of the grieving, it carries the weight of a nation's gratitude. As Veterans Day draws near, let us remember that patriotism is more than a word. It is a way of living. It is a promise we keep to honor those who served by being a nation worthy of their service. Let us live our red with courage. Let us live our whites with integrity. Let us live our blue with unity. And let us carry these colors forward in our homes, in our hearts, and in our community, as faithfully as they carry them into battle. At this time, I ask all veterans present to please stand. So that we may recognize your service, your sacrifice, and your enduring place among the colors that define our freedom. From one veteran to another, it's an honor to thank you for your service. May God always bless our veterans in this beautiful city of Menifee.
I asked you for inspiration. Mission accomplished. Well done. Thank you so much. At my last meeting, which was my first meeting as Mayor Pro Tem, I got to ask Santa Claus to lead us in the flag salute, but Santa is not available today. So the next best thing is our former Mayor Bill Zimmerman, who is here. So I'm going to ask him to lead us in the flag salute. All right, now we move on to the presentations in our program. Would the City Council please join me at the front of the dais for the first presentation? Hulk smash, Mike. I broke it apart. So our first presentation tonight is somebody very, very special that I want to introduce the city of Menifee to. If you haven't met her already, Mickey Warner, would you please join us up here? For those who don't know Mickey, I'll tell you that the easiest fact first. On October 19th of this year, Mickey turned 100 years old. And if you don't know her background, she teaches yoga. She's an artist, and if you go to any of our events at the Cultural Center for Spiritual Living, she's got a stand right there where you can take a look at her paintings. She paints. You paint every day? All right. She paints seascapes and beachscapes and fantasy pictures. It's fantastic, and I just thought that she's just the embodiment of everything that we're trying to become as a society and as a constituency here in the city of Menifee, and I wanted to recognize her for that. So before we go through and officially recognize you, I'm going to pass this microphone around so our city council can say nice things about you. So I'm going to come right over here to Dan Temple.
Well, I've met Mickey a couple of times at the Center for Spiritual Living at Live Jam, but I didn't realize that she was 100. And I see her smile, and I think, gosh, for somebody who has seen so many things happen in the world and so much change and events that we've read about, for somebody who has seen all these things and to smile today and be as happy as you are, you know what? That's something to emulate. So happy birthday to you, and Miss Menifee, happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Mickey, we haven't had a chance to meet yet, but I am so excited to meet you. So 100 years, I think that's an accomplishment for anybody that went like that, right? But the fact that you're so vivacious and vibrant and still active and giving back, that's just so amazing to see, and I think that's what we're all hoping that we can do. So it's been a pleasure to meet you tonight. I look forward to talking to you some more, but I think we're all curious, what's your secret?
We'll get it from her, believe me.
I'm willing to wait here. No, congratulations. You know, it's exciting to know that you're an artist and you teach yoga and stuff. It's like that means that you're still active, you're still going, and you're still helping our community by making it nicer and better and in better shape too because of yoga. So thank you for everything you do. Congratulations on your becoming 100 years old. They always say that age is just a number, and I think you just proven that correct. So congratulations. I'm so glad to meet you and look forward to seeing you in your paintings.
I was joking before we started here today that based on the vitality that Mickey is displaying here, I think my grandchildren, when my granddaughter becomes mayor eventually, she'll be able to award another certificate to Mickey for her 200th year. So I'm going to award. First thing I'd like to do is hear from you before I give. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give the certificate first, and you can talk for as long as you want. This right here is a certificate of achievement. You've done it. You've achieved in the city of Menifee. The City of Menifee City Council sends its heartfelt congratulations and best wishes in recognition of your 100th birthday, celebrated on October 19, 2025. May the years ahead be filled with continued happiness and joyful moments. And this is for you to just remember that the City of Menifee loves you, recognizes you, and thanks you for being a part of it. And I think everybody would like to hear a couple of words from you. So we've already heard inspiration today. This is going to be inspiration part 2.
Okay, well, let me tell you.
She's written it on the Dead Sea Scrolls.
No, I'm going to read this and then I'll talk. Dear Mayor Bob and members of the Menifee City Council, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful occasion. I am deeply honored to be here, and I thank you for all of you for all you have done to make Menifee the award-winning best and safest city in Riverside County. They did. They got an award. I moved to Sun City over 40 years ago, And I have witnessed the phenomenal growth. I was here when when Menifee Lakes was built. And I want to give you this. They gave that to me the day they broke ground to build the lake in 1989, and everyone got a gold. I don't think you were there that way.
I just missed it.
And I watched this area grow from farms and sheep. I had sheep in my backyard, and they kept me awake all night. And then I was ready to move the next day. Sheep don't sleep, they eat all night. And I would sit there and look over my fence. I lived on Carmel, the last row of Sun City. And there would be the sheep man out there with his little dog. And the fire, he'd build a fire at 12 o'clock noon. And then he'd go like that to his dog. His dog would run out in the cactus and all the weeds, pull out a cottontail. The sheep herder would take the cottontail, clean him, and put him on a stick and cook him. And then he shared it with his dog. But, you know, I have to admit, it smelled pretty good.
Do you have anything else for us, inspirational words of wisdom? Oh, you got more in your letter, I see.
Yes, I stopped here where I said the farms and the sheep. Now, there's over 100,000 people here now, and it's still growing. So go on, grow, grow, grow. It's as long as you keep it a beautiful, safe city. That's what we want.
That's Mickey Warner right there.
God bless America, and God bless everyone, and God bless Menifee and Sun City.
Say that last part again loud.
God bless Sun City and Menifee.
There you go. Well, let's take a couple of pictures, shall we? What we're going to do is we're going to center you right under the seal here, and we're going to have you hold up your certificate for us. Don't worry. This is Phil. He'll tell you where to stand. Don't worry. And then after we take this picture, we're going to bring up everybody who's come to support her to come up and take a picture with us. Done up here? All right. We can return. That was something, wasn't it? It's one of the best parts about this job is getting to recognize people for things like that. All right, moving on. Our next presentation is going to be the ERP Financial Management System Update. I believe our Chief Financial Officer, Travis Hickey, is going to present the item. Mr. Hickey.
Sir. Yes, Travis Hickey, CFO, and it's a bit hard to follow that one, but I'll try to grab inspiration from the fact that we share the same birthday. So that was special. So, well, anyways, good evening, acting mayor, city council members, members of the public, and city staff. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to present an update on the progress of the city's ERP system project. We last updated the city council on August 7th of 2024 after the first module went live on July of that year. We now have 2 new council members who were not here at that time, and so I'll take a step back to provide a little bit of background. An enterprise resource planning system, or ERP, is a type of software that integrates core business processes such as finance and human resources into a single system with a shared database. This integration allows different departments to access real-time data, which streamlines operations, improves decision-making, and creates a central source of information for the city. Designated as a CIP project, this is a major project, managed between finance, IT, and human resources with contributions from all departments. We are grateful for the support of the City Council and the Executive Office to prioritize this project, which supports the city's guiding principles of being accountable, fiscally responsible, responsive, and transparent. We will start by looking at the project timeline. The ERP contract was awarded back in February of 2023 to Tyler Technologies for their ERP system known as Munis, or as we have now branded it, Menifee Metro. We then began implementation of the first phase of the project, the financial module. The financial system starts with the city's general ledger and chart of accounts and includes business processes such as accounts payable, purchase orders and requisitions, cashiering and accounts receivable, and budgeting, among others. After going live with financials, we shifted our focus to the HCM part of the, more notes. We went live with the financials on July 1st of 24. This is when we made the break from our prior system and started initiating all transactions in Menifee Metro. The configuration was all set up, but a number of tasks still remain, such as setting up the transparency portal, setting up and modifying workflows, preparation of the budget in the system, and closing out the fiscal year that was primarily in the old system, and then now closing out the fiscal year 24-25, which is the first full year with data in the new system. Ongoing tasks we're still working through are the integration with Acela, which our development departments use, and the launch of the Executive Insights dashboard, which will provide better analytical tools for managers and directors. Although there are always pain points with any new system, we are pleased with the performance of the new system, and most employees seem to have adjusted well to the new processes. After going live with financials, we shifted our focus to HCM, part of the project. HCM stands for the Human Capital Management and encompasses the city's payroll and human resources systems. This part of the implementation has been delayed a bit from our initial projections for a variety of reasons, primarily involving turnover of personnel on both the city side and with the Tyler implementation team. Although we have not moved quickly as we would have liked, we recognize the importance of getting payroll and human resources processes right and did not want to force a deadline just for the sake of completing the project. We now feel we are back on track and planning to go live with payroll within the first half of 2026 to entirely complete the project. Now we will look at how the budget is tracking, how the project is tracking with the budget. The box on the right details the major components of the budget. The overall budget is $2.1 million, and to date we have spent $1.5 million, with another almost $300,000 encumbered for a total commitment of $1.8 million. The remaining encumbered amount is anticipated to cover the Tyler implementation costs through the HCM go live. This brings the project to just over 85% of the total budget, so we are on track to be able to complete the overall project well under budget. Earlier, I mentioned one of the outstanding items on the financial side was the transparency portal. I'm very pleased to announce that the portal is now live and can be accessed through the city's website. I want to thank Margarita Cornejo, Deputy Finance Director, for her tireless efforts to get this tool online so the council, public, and city staff can have a look under the hood of the city finances, both budgets and actuals. I encourage everyone to give it a try and reach out to me with any questions or any feedback. So with that, I will turn it over to Margarita to walk us through the new portal.
Thank you, Travis. Good afternoon, acting mayor, council members, and everyone here. I am going to just give you guys a quick walkthrough of kind of what the portal is, some snapshots of what it looks like. And as our CFO announced, it is now available on our website. If you go to the main news, you'll see the link to it. But if you just want to look it up, it's a pretty straightforward website to remember. It's our cityofmenifee.us/open finance. So this portal is part of the city's commitment to delivering financial transparency. It is a portal that feeds directly from our financial transactions, so it's automatically updated every day on a regular basis, collecting all relevant and current information. It includes an interactive drill down kind of functionality on revenues, expenditures, and even vendor payments. We've also kind of leveraged this kind of centralized hub to provide other resources that will augment, hopefully, the experience for anybody who's looking through the portal, because in it you'll find numbers, but obviously numbers always have value when you get context into it. So it has direct links to our adopted budget book for the current biennial budget, as well as our CIP program. And then we introduced in the last year the Stacks Property Tax Finder, which is a portal dedicated to being able to find information on property tax. So we've kind of unified it all under this transparency portal too for easier accessibility. So this is kind of a visual of what it looks like when you log in. The main page on it is going to direct you to some kind of main page summaries of things from revenues to our citywide adopted budget, our vendor payments, and so forth. And as you can see, it's illustrated here, you can use the explore features to get into kind of the weeds and the details to the level that any user may want to look through. So here's kind of some highlights of if we were going to look at, for example, a screen on the expenditure side. It lets you kind of look through different years. You can drill down by the type of kind of summary that you want. You might want to be looking at it. What's the funding source? What's the department? What's the division? What type of expense is it? What type of CIP project is it? And through it, it's pretty intuitive. You have the ability to kind of travel and move through each one pretty easily. You can drill down on the bar, the graphics themselves, or you can go down to the numbers themselves and you get kind of that level of detail. On the vendor side, an added feature that we have as an enhancement to the previous portal that we have sunsetted through OpenGov is that this has specific vendor payment information. So if the public wants to see, in addition to the warrant registers that are regularly produced as part of the agenda items, more easily kind of who is getting paid what amounts, there's the ability to drill down on, again, the vendor specific, what department it's being paid from, and even what specific kind of check and when that payment was issued. So that kind of illustrates that right there. So with that kind of concludes our presentation. We're available for any questions. And again, we encourage anybody from the public to kind of follow and use this portal at any time to kind of follow our actuals, our payments, and our expenditures. Thank you.
Thank you, finance team. Excellent. We can see why City of Menifee Finance wins so many awards every year. This is transparency. This is comprehensive. I think you've just ruined Michael Knighton's 2026 because he's going to be spending 7 hours a day on this website, I'm sure. Do we have any questions from City Council on the presentation? No? All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah, applaud. That's good. That was a lot of work. All right. And you don't have to stay for the whole meeting just because we honored you, but you're welcome to. It's great to see you there. All right. Now is the time where we look at our agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any modifications to tonight's agenda?
No modifications.
We do not. All right. So can I ask the City Council for an all in favor to approve the agenda? All say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. The agenda is approved. Now we come to the public comments on non-agenda items. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
Yes, we do.
All right. In which case, I'll read this introductory remark. This is the time for members of the public to address the council about items which are not listed on the agenda. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made. Each speaker will be allotted up to 3 minutes on any single item. Madam Clerk, please call the first speaker.
We have Julie Pauley, followed by Lupe Jenkins.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem. Is it acting mayor, Mayor Pro Tem?
Governor, whatever you want to call me, it's fine.
Future governor. I'm Julie Polly, and I wanted to come and introduce myself. I'm the new Government Affairs Director for the Southwest Riverside Association of Realtors, or your local realtor association. So I've lived in French Valley for 20 years. My kids went to local schools, so I'm a member of this community. My husband serves on Eastern Municipal Water District's Board of Directors, and so it's really fulfilling to be able to make a contribution to the community that I live and work in. So there's that. But also, it's really my goal in this role that we're seen as a trusted stakeholder in public policy discussions. So as you're doing your work here at the city, we really hope to be at the table contributing constructively to that effort. So I just wanted to come by and say hi and introduce myself, and especially to the city manager, that we hope to have our city manager breakfast again in 2026 and get you details on that shortly. I have a lot on my to-do list my first couple months, so anyhow, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Lupe Jenkins, followed by Lori Clough.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins.
Hello again. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Carwin and members of the Menifee City Council. Menifee is facing an escalating animal welfare crisis that demands immediate attention. Riverside County's animal shelters are operating at 220 to 270% capacity, far beyond what they can safely sustain. Kennels are overcrowded, animals are stressed, and county resources are stretched to the limit. Here in Menifee, this crisis has a very real impact on our community. In October alone, residents reported 82 lost dogs, 40 lost cats, and 1 turtle on social media. And those are only the publicly documented cases. Each one represents a family searching, calling shelters, and hoping their pet hasn't become another unclaimed statistic in an overwhelmed system. A major factor worsening this situation is the lack of city support for microchipping and prevention programs. While the county and Animal Friends of the Valley provide free microchipping and adopted and fostered pets, Menifee has not taken an active role in offering or funding local microchipping events. Simple city-sponsored microchip clinics or low-cost spay-neuter partnerships could make a measurable difference in preventing shelter overcrowding and lost pet intake. The county and AFV have done what they can, including waiving adoption fees, extending shelter hours, ensuring pets leave vaccinated, microchip tagged at no cost, but the county and AFV cannot carry this burden alone. Menifee needs its own city shelter, a local facility to assist residents directly, respond to stray and lost animal calls, and lighten the load on AFV and county shelters by managing cases within city limits. Such a facility would reduce response times, improve reunification rates, and show Menifee's commitment to responsible growth and compassionate governance. Our residents deserve their own city shelter to help save the lives of local lost pets. It's time for the City Council to step up and take action now. Please stop ignoring our plea for help. Meetings with you so far have been unbeneficial. So, if necessary, we will take this fight for our pets to the public through outside avenues. We look forward to hearing you soon, we hope, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Lori Clough, followed by Reggie Romaine.
Ms. Clough, before you start, I just want to make sure, are we pronouncing your name right? Clough?
Clough, yes.
Got it. Our clerk is right on that. I appreciate that so much.
Well, I have to write it. It's pronounced C-L-U-F-F, and I've lived with it my whole life. So
Fantastic. Thank you.
I first submitted questions on August 31st regarding the care and welfare of our city's animals. On October 14th, Captain Gutierrez of the Menifee Police Department responded to some of my questions about animal abuse calls, and I appreciate his time and responsiveness. However, I have yet to receive answers from the city on the remaining concerns. On November 7th, the Menifee State of the City address will be held. This year's theme is City for Families. In a true city for families, every member matters, including those with paws, whiskers, and wagging tails. But when it comes to animal services, Menifee's actions don't reflect that promise. Menifee has no city-run animal shelter. That means when a pet goes missing, families have no local place to turn. Instead, we rely entirely on a contractor, Animal Friends of the Valley, with no local control over policies, medical protocols, or accountability. That's not family-friendly, that's outsourced silence. Meanwhile, many pets are picked up by Riverside County Animal Services. I have had no difficulty obtaining policies and medical protocols directly from the county. Yet from Animal Friends, our own contracted provider, transparency is absent. Menifee is Animal Friends' top contributor. We led in both cat and dog intakes for every month from January through August of this year. If we are the largest source of intake, how can we justify outsourcing responsibility? At the same time, the city does not endorse or promote Animal Friends events. There are no adoption drives, no education, no public partnerships. That is a missed opportunity to build trust and engage our community. Even the city's website lists private rescues under animal services, but rescues are not shelters, and residents rely on that page in urgent moments. In fact, these rescues are listed before Animal Friends and the County of Riverside, which misleads residents into thinking they are the city's primary providers of shelter services. Our city's first responsibility is to the animals in our contracted and county shelters, the strays, surrenders, cruelty cases, and pets picked up by law enforcement. These are the animals most at risk of being destroyed when shelters run out of space, resources, or when illness strikes. A city-run shelter in Menifee could be a life-saving resource, not just for animals, but for people. With local control, we can provide education and outreach that helps residents recognize warning signs and seek help early. A shelter can be more than a holding facility. It can be a hub for intervention and healing. If Menifee is truly a city for families, then it's time we prove it by giving our animals and the people who love them the shelter and accountability they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clef. Next speaker.
Reggie Romaine, followed by Gloria Sanchez.
Mr. Romaine, thank you.
First of all, how about them Dodgers, huh? Well, I'm telling you something. This right here, that World Series victory, I got something better than that. It's about reparations. We just had a bill passed by Governor Newsom, and it's our second reparations bill. It was the SB 515. Our first bill was the AB 3121, which allowed us to do a 2-year study on the harms done to blacks here in California. And we came up with over 1,000 final report by the task force. You can go to cjec-official.org. First of all, let me say, my name is Reggie Romaine with CJEC, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, the #1 grassroots organization for reparations in the world. They say just California. The SB 15 is now law, and it applies directly to our city and county. The law requires local government to update forms and data systems so employees can identify as descendants of enslaved black Americans. This is about visibility and truth. For generations, American freemen have been invisible in public data. When we're lumped into one broad category, the real disparities in housing, health, income, opportunity stay hidden. Disaggregated data leads to real results. San Francisco, disaggregated data showed that Vietnamese and Tongan families were being left out of city programs, and the city responded with Vietnamese and Tongan specific resources and supports for language access and youth programs. Santa Clara County used disaggregated health data to identify higher COVID-19 infection vaccination sites and community health workers. Los Angeles County disaggregated subgroup data during COVID helped direct equitable health resources and multilingual outreach to NHPI and Asian communities. SB 515 gives our city and county the same opportunity. We can finally understand and act on the specific conditions of black descendants in our own community. CJEC is here to help. Our team can provide training, templates, and examples to departments understand the law, update forms, and implement it smoothly and effectively. Let's go beyond compliance. Let's lead. We can collect the same kind of disaggregated data wherever we already gather information on residents, housing, health, jobs, education, and local services. This is our moment. Implementing SB 515 fully and expanding on it locally will make our city a statewide model for fairness, visibility, and justice. And one more thing, let me give a shout out to Billy Saley, District 63, our former assembly member. He supported our AB 1315 reparations bill, and I yield.
Next speaker.
Gloria Sanchez, followed by Andrea Mares.
Good
Ms.
evening.
Sanchez, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Temp, City Council, residents of Menifee, and staff. I'm here tonight representing the Menifee Interfaith and Community Service Council to once again announce this is our 11th year offering to Menifee residents of free Thanksgiving meals for Menifee. Again, this is our 11th year. We are so proud to be doing this at no cost to anyone who would like to attend. It is held on Thanksgiving Day. This year it's Thursday, November 27th. The event is held at the K. Sinacero Senior Center. We have 2 seatings that day. One is at 11:30 and one is at 1. At this time when food insecurity exists for many residents, we want to make sure that they don't go hungry. With the climate that is here now, we understand that many people will not have the funds to have a good meal on that day. We wish we could feed everyone every day, but we have designated this day to be the day that we offer free meals for our residents. No one is turned away. No one is sent away without a meal. And the other thing that we provide is home-delivered meals for those, for whatever reason, they cannot attend the senior center. This is very important to everyone in this room, everyone in the city, everyone in the county. I wish that more cities would be as active as we are, and I'm very happy to say that the Menifee Interfaith Community Service Council understands the needs of our city. I want to give a shout out to Tony Falco, who was the person who first brought this to our council, and we supported him in every way, and here we are 11 years later. So we're very proud of this, and also I'd like to introduce the person who works very close with me, and that's Linda Blanche, who is in the audience. And Linda, would you stand up? Thank you, Linda, for all you do. And also, I'd like to thank the staff, I'd like to thank the council and the city for supporting this event that has been taking place, again, for 11 years. Please make sure that you call the senior center, reach out, make sure that you make the reservations that are needed, and again, we want to feed as many people as we can. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Andrea Mares, followed by Moises.
Good evening. Acting Mayor Carwin, members of the City Council, City Manager, and City staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Andrea Mares, and I'm your new Government Relations Manager for Southern California Edison. You may have seen me out and about for the past 2 months, introducing myself to the community, but I'm here to officially make it official. And while I'm new to the role, I am not new to the community. I was born and raised in the Hemet-San Jacinto Valley and remain a Riverside County resident. Prior to joining Edison, I handled public safety policy for 3rd District Supervisor Chuck Washington. I look forward to strengthening the relationship between Edison and the city and working together with you and your city staff to meet the city's energy needs. I'd also like to add that we recognize that customers may be impacted right now with the government shutdown. And any residential customer who needs additional time to remit their energy bill is encouraged to contact Southern California Edison Customer Service to talk through payment options. This can look like deferment of payment, installment plans, waivers of the 20% deposit for extension, and no late payment charges for the duration of the shutdown. With that, I've left my cards with the city clerk, and I'll thank you for your time.
Moises, followed by Jesse Sims.
Good evening, Menifee City Council. My name is Moises Covarrubias. I just had a couple of things to go over about, today I'm speaking about government weaponization. And so what I'm speaking about is, it's an issue that's difficult for people to talk about in any community, especially this community here. It's a small community. This is something that Donald Trump has spearheaded and has begun to talk about, and it's government weaponization. Blacklists. He's been focusing on transparency, as we were talking here today about transparency, but he's talking about transparency with regard to government weaponization. The government weaponization that I'm talking about today is the terror screening database, one of the blacklists that President Trump has talked about. It's also now considered or now labeled the the threat screening center. This list has been used in unconstitutional ways. People are being nominated to these lists without constitutional process or without due process. A lot of innocent Americans who are not terrorists are being put on this list. This includes children, women, and the elderly. Many people who are actually already vulnerable. This list enacts its harassment, if you will, or weaponization in the different forms. The first is electronic harassment. This electronic harassment comes in the form of microwave or V2K weapons, which basically is V2K is a microwave that affects people in different ways, and mostly it's a way of communication that is audio, which causes hearing disruptions directly through the person's cochlea and surpasses or so that's one of the main ways. The other is remote neuromonitoring. Remote neuromonitoring is basically mind reading in the form of a interface which reads a person's brain waves and translate those brain waves into images, words, and readable emotions. The other form of electronic harassment or is frequency attacks. Now these are also done through microwave or through electronic means that cause emotional disturbances in its victims. As far as aside
Mr.
from
Moises, your 3 minutes are up.
let me just wrap it up here. As far as the other ways that this affects people is through gang stalking in the community, in public, on the roads, in businesses, as well as character assassination or smearing campaigns. And
How much do you have left, sir?
I would like to go ahead and finish this up.
I know you would like to, but we've given you 3 minutes. Perhaps you could read it at home first and check it out for 3 minutes before you come here.
I have a few flyers I want to go ahead and give the city council here.
You can put them on the table in the back. We'd appreciate it.
And
Sir,
I'm tired.
your 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
I'm
We're not going to do
tired
this every time,
I'm
Moises.
tired of going through this, and I will be here every single meeting if I have to, and give you guys the
I encourage you to prepare and rehearse so you can get it down for 3 minutes. Everyone else have the same rules.
Mr. Moises, you can leave them with me and I can pass them out.
I'm just craving wares. It's not anything controversial.
Fair enough. Mr. Sims.
Good evening.
Next speaker is Jesse Sims.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Carwin, members of the City Council, members of the city staff, community members. Thank you. My name is Jesse Sims. I'm the CEO of Netvolutions Technology Group, also the chair of the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce. And tonight I'll try and be brief. I just have a couple of things. On November 7th at HCN Athletic Field at the MSJC, we will be conducting the State of the City address for the Menifee, for the city of Menifee. Although our sponsorships and VIP sessions are closed, those have been sold out. But we would still like to invite members of the community to come out and see the amazing things that our city is preparing for this year coming up, all the exciting things that they have going on. It starts at 6 p.m. and there is no cost to the public, so we do encourage you to come. On December 5th, our chamber will be hosting an awards gala. We will be recognizing the contributions of our outgoing board members, along with representing some of the local businesses here. For example, Large Business of the Year, Small Business of the Year, Nonprofit of the Year. And tickets are still on sale for that. And we do have sponsorship opportunities should you want to get your business out in front of those. There are sponsorships available, and tickets are available on the chamber website. We're continuing to add new businesses to our community, to our membership. We're continuing to grow there. We've just completed our strategic planning. We have some very aggressive goals to grow our business community and to continue helping our business community strengthen our city. And then in conclusion, I would just like to extend my very heartfelt appreciation for the City Council, how that you are supporting us. Many of you come to our chamber events regularly. Thank you so very much for your continued support of us. I would like to thank the members of our city staff for the amazing job that you're doing. And thank you, members of the community, for hearing me out. Thank you.
No other speakers.
No more speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, now is item number 8 on the agenda, which is council member updates and comments. So I'll start to the far right with Councilmember Ben Diedrich.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. After the end of summer and my committee's kind of slowing down and taking time off, everything is back in full force. So I will try to be as quick as possible getting through since our last meeting. On October 16th, I attended the State of the Eastern Municipal Water District. Then on the 21st, I attended the Chamber's Wake Up Menifee at Texas Roadhouse, which was a great event. On the 22nd, I attended the Southwest Elected Leaders Coalition, and on the 23rd, I attended the Chamber Board meeting. And then also later that day, the staff here in City Council had the chili cook-off, and so came over to come vote on some of the best chili here. That was a fun little event. Later that day, we had the Education Summit here, also a great event. And then finally that night, the Lake Elsinore State of the City event. Then on the 28th, I attended the Southwest Higher Education Coalition, where they showed their architect plans for the update to the Temecula MSJC building, where they're working with Cal State San Marcos to bring in bachelor degree programs there. So that was great seeing that. On the 30th, attended the State of the 3rd District, and later that day attended Eastern Municipal Water District's daily road update. And then finally this morning, I think all of us were there for the Boulders Project ribbon cutting, first mixed use project here in the city. And that's all I have to report on.
Great report. Thank you for your involvement. Councilmember Temple.
The end of this month, I attended the Menifee Employees Appreciation Luncheon at the hotel. On November 1st, I attended the Day of the Dead celebration at MSJC. November 4th, I attended the Menifee Interfaith meeting, which Ms. Sanchez spoke earlier about. On this morning, I attended the Boulders Community Development grand opening. And then my Riverside Conservation Authority meeting was canceled this month due to lack of agenda.
Thank you. Alternate Presiding Officer Dinas.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? Can put that on my name tag here? On the 22nd of October, I attended the RTA's regional T-Now meeting with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Talked about what they're doing with e-bikes and how they're handling that and things like that. They did mention that there's a app out there called Volt, so that if you take that and you put all the information about the e-bike in there, it'll tell you what class it is and whether it's legal and all that kind of stuff. So that'd be a good idea from parents before you go out and buy the e-bike. Then on the October 23rd, I attended the RTA board meeting. I'll let you know that on Veterans Day, RTA is offering free rides to all veterans for all routes. So if they need a ride somewhere, it'll be free for that day. And then on the 3rd of November, I attended the site selectors luncheon that put on by our economic development team. We brought some people in from around the country that toured the Southwest Regional area here, and we showed them all the good stuff about Menifee. And I also attended the Boulder's grand opening. And then today, I attended the RTA's Admin and Operations Committee. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Good reports all. I love to see everybody out there super active. We've been at a lot of these events together. Before I start my comments, I just want to make sure, before everybody gets bored with the list, I want to make sure everybody hears this. On Tuesday is going to be our Menifee Veterans Day celebration. It's going to be at Hidden Hills Park. The program starts at 10 a.m. At 11 a.m. that day, we're going to be having a flyover, which is always a very special event. So please come on out and help us celebrate our Menifee veterans at Hidden Hills Park. It's over right next to Gale, the Gale Webb Kids Are #1 sports park. So please come out and join us for that. I did attend, let me see my notes here. Oh, RCTC, I attended an RCTC meeting. A couple of things I wanted to report out on there. The call box system on the freeways is over in Riverside County. You are no longer going to be able to stop and pick up the phone for the call boxes. They're going to be sunsetting the entire thing. They're all going to be removed. But Riverside County Transportation Commission is first in the state in trying to find an alternate program. So they're doing a study right now to see if there's any way that we can support people who don't have cell reception in certain areas, especially in the eastern part of the state. So we're one of the first in we're one of the first in the state to do that, so I want to report that out specifically. As far as events go, Eastern Municipal Water District State of the District I was at with Councilmember Diedrich. The Cabian Park ribbon cutting wasn't in Menifee, but all of our residents were looking forward to it. It looks great. If you haven't been up there, they cleaned it up. New bathrooms. It's fantastic. Attended Wake Up Menifee at Texas Roadhouse, a couple of Rotary meetings, the Education Summit with Councilmember Diedrich, Lake Elsinore State of the City. We were at that one as well. RCTC budget and implementation, State of the 3rd District. We had good representation there. The Fall City Employee Luncheon. I hung out with the Menifee Cars and Coffee guys in the morning. They brought out all their cool cars, and they do charity stuff. It's great stuff. School Resource Fair with the Rotary Club. I helped them over with that over at the school district building. I attended the Live Jam concert at the Center for Spiritual Living. That's where I met Mickey Warner a bunch of times. If you haven't been to that, it's excellent, free live music in Menifee. I was over at the Fall Festival, got to address the crowd over at the Fall Festival and see all of the dogs dressed in costumes. Don't miss that next year. EMWD community meeting regarding improvement of Daily Road. Councilmember Diedrich in there with that. Did that start today, by the way? That was supposed to start on Monday, right? Yeah, they're going to be doing it for 1 week. WRCOG Administration and Finance. I can't report out what happened at that meeting because it was a confidential meeting. I got to be a judge at a chili cook-off to benefit Camp Pendleton Young Marines and Wounded Warriors. That was put on by Marianne Hillary and her group over at the Canyon Lake Golf Club. Tony Reverdito was there. Canyon Lake Mayor Mark Terry was there. It was a great event. Stopped off at the Day of the Dead celebration. Councilmember Temple and I missed each other there. WRCOG Executive Committee, which I just reported out on, and the Boulders grand opening today. Is that enough? Should I keep going? I think it's plenty. I did. I stopped by and visited Menifee mailboxes and more and made sure everything was going good over there, keeping our homeless population down so the businesses can thrive there. And then the last thing I'll mention is that I also coach the mock trial team over at Paloma Valley High School, so I've been dedicating a lot of time, a couple days a week over there. Great to start that program, giving back to the kids. Anything else? Hearing none, we're moving on to approval of the minutes. Let me get the language exactly right here. There's one set of minutes for the council's consideration. Does the council have any modifications? No. So can I ask the council for an all in favor of approving the October 15th regular meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Now we move on to the consent calendar. All matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on a specific item on the consent calendar. If an item is removed from the consent calendar, it will be discussed individually and acted on separately. Are there any items that council members would like to pull? Councilmember Diedrich?
10.18, please.
10.18. Anything? I would like to pull 10.21, please. And if there's no other items to pull, can I get a motion to approve the balance?
Second.
And that passes on the balance. So item number 10.18, Councilmember Diedrich, do you want a full report? What is your pleasure?
I'd just like an update on it. Yes, please.
I see Public Works Director Nick Fiddler making his way to the podium.
Acting Mayor, Councilmember Dietrich, Nick Fiddler, Public Works Director. I do have a presentation I can provide you to give you a little bit of an update. This is consent calendar item 1018. It's parcel map 38156. This is Menifee Commerce Center. So the project is located just south of Ethonac, east of the I-215. The project site is generally bounded by the Riverside County Flood Control District to the south, which also the Southern California Edison easement. And then we have Ethonac Road to the north, Dawson Road to the east, and Trumbull Road to the west. This is the existing conditions out there of the site. If you look at the kind of the brownish area in the center of the screen is where the proposed site will be. So these are the existing conditions of the roadway leading into that facility. This project will construct approximately a little over a 1 million square foot industrial building. As part of the industrial building, they'll bring in a significant amount of infrastructure, improving these existing conditions. This map here shows all the roads that it will touch as part of the project. It's actually two parcels right now. There's the one on the right that's 1.1 million square feet, and then the one on the left is 385,000. Right now, the developer is focusing on the 1.1 million square foot building, but all the improvements that are associated with this project and this map will be completed with either one of the projects. So you can see there's two brand new signals that will be installed as part of the project, one at Sherman and Ethonac and the other at Dawson and Ethonac. A significant amount of storm drain infrastructure that will be included. This area is prone to flooding, so the storm drains will help with this area during storm events. There's also a significant amount of sewer that's being installed to support these facilities, along with water. The site will be very nicely landscaped once complete. And they're also modifying two traffic signals that exist out there right now, one at the northbound on and off ramps at I-215 and the other at Trumbull, Trumbull and Ethonac. So the community benefits this project brings to us is significant. We got a few examples, one locally where we did improvements to Ziders Road, and it brought in a lot of both industrial and commercial activities that are occurring at the south end of our town. And then along with safety enhancements, obviously the new traffic signals that I talked about, the widened roadways that will help facilitate some of the new traffic that will be introduced by the project. And overall, this project will bring infrastructure that will provide for additional growth within that area of the city. These are just renderings of what the facility will look like, the improvements to the roadways that will happen. The bottom rendering is Sherman Road, which is directly adjacent to the facility, which is in the background. and you can see the lush landscaping that will be incorporated into the project. So, fiscal impact. The developer is placing over $37 million worth of public infrastructure. That doesn't include all the credits that he will get through the various TUMF and DIF fees. So a significant investment to the city to kickstart the infrastructure in this area. And in addition, the developer will be required to join a CFD for long-term maintenance of those roadway improvements. And with that, if you have any additional questions, be happy to answer. And we also have the developer here as well, if there's any questions you would like him to answer as well.
Thank you, Director Fiddler. Now is the time when the City Council can ask questions of staff, if there are any. Go ahead, Councilmember Diedrich.
Yeah, thank you. Nick, you mentioned over $37 million in infrastructure is going in, right? I mean, can you put that into comparison? What is our annual CIP budget for the city overall?
That's well over it's almost double what our typical annual.
A huge amount of infrastructure that's going into the city through this project. The reason I called this is because, you know, industrial projects get a lot of vilification, and I just wanted to point out the huge benefit that this project is bringing to the city and will be bringing to the city. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from City Council? Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No speakers.
All right. Do I need to open a public hearing on the consent because we pulled it? No?
No.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, would anybody like to make a motion on this item?
I'll move. I'll second then.
And that passes 4-0. Thank you very much. And before we go on to the next consent calendar item that I was pulled, I realized that I did not ask if there were any other requests to speak on any of the other agenda items.
For on consent, there were no public speakers.
Thank you very much. All right, so item number 10.21 is the one that I requested. It's a short item, maybe a presentation. I'm sure it's going to be brief from you.
Yeah, I do have a presentation for that as well. This is to accept the tenant improvements for the Cherry Hills Facility Improvements Phase 1 project. This is, the project included the abatement of the facility. There was a significant amount of asbestos found within the building. This is an older structure built in the 60s, 70s when asbestos was in high use in various...
This is the old Bank of America building in Sun City.
Correct. Yep, sorry. Thank you. So the project did, as you can see from the before and after photos, how much material we had to take out of that facility in order for us to remove all the asbestos and a little bit of amount of lead that are both products that we can't continue to build upon. So we are now starting with a clean slate, if you look at the right. So this project, we're now moving into the improvement phase of Phase 1. The Phase 1 will build approximately 3,000 square feet of the 9,800 square foot building. This is for future use for our police department. They will house various functional units out of this facility to help support the needs in that area of the city and also other areas of the city as well. As you're all aware, we're outgrowing the current police department, so this gives us a little bit of room to expand and provide better services to the community. So with that, the rendering on the right is some of the floor plans that we're looking at improving in that area. So the remodel includes offices, break rooms, conference rooms, restrooms, locker rooms, and then obviously support facilities such as our information technology room. And then our Phase 1 remodel project schedule is we're looking to go out to bid in January 2026, start construction in April, end construction in September, and then we'll have an acceptance of 2026, October 2026. With that, any questions? Be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Any questions from City Council on this item? The reason that part of the reason I wanted to pull this was for that slide, which is the timeline. Can you put that back up one more time, just that last slide?
There you go.
So bidding is going out January 26th. We did previously have a bid out on this, but because of the remediation with the asbestos, we're going to need to rebid it. Is that what's going on?
No, this would be the first time that we did for the remodel. The previous bid that we did was to do all the abatement. We had to separate out the abatement because we needed to see what structures were left after completion. It's a good thing we did, because when we got in there after the abatement, we kind of reorganized what we were initially planning for the project. Because when we got in there and saw some of the space, we were able to reprogram to make better use of the future phases of the project. So this will be the first time that it goes out to bid for the remodel of the space for the PD.
All right, and we're looking at conclusion of the construction by September with approval in October. Then by the end of the year, we could start moving in.
Yes.
Excellent. I don't have any further questions. With that, I'd like to move to approve the item. Can I get a second? That item passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, that concludes the consent calendar. Now we're on to the public hearing items. First item is 11.1. First reading and introduction of an ordinance amending Menifee Municipal Code Title 12, Section 12.20.140 to prohibit certain commercial vehicle parking on city streets and highways. Can I have Director Fidler provide a presentation on the item, please?
Well, back again. Thank you so much. So item, I won't repeat. Mayor did an amazing job for that. Like. So I guess I won't. I'll just jump right in. So Title 12, Section 12.20.140 addresses parking of large commercial vehicles, commercial trucks, semi-trailers. Right. Currently, our code prohibits vehicles of more than 10,000 pounds, any commercial trailer, regardless of weight, in residential districts or undeveloped private property. The key word is in residential districts. So we'll move into what we're proposing, which will change that, because right now the trucks are allowed to park in other areas of the city that aren't directly adjacent to a residential district. And between my department, Public Works, and our police department, we get a significant amount of calls from residents and commercial business owners complaining about the use of illegal parking. So some of the issues that we have observed are they're parked outside of residential districts and adjacent to commercial areas. And one of our bigger hotspots is adjacent to the hospital up off of McCall. The resulting issues comes in under traffic congestion. The trucks are much wider than your standard vehicles, so they are moving in and out of our local roads to go find these places to park. They obstruct motorist views because they are much wider, and they impair access to businesses and services. So these are just a couple of examples of where this is occurring. You can see this is on an undeveloped a lot on the left. This is up directly adjacent to the Boulders community that we all celebrated today. So the familiar spot that you've seen. I'm sure you've seen them all over town. I've received calls from multiple of council members and mayor about this issue, and same with Chief Carr. He's received multiple calls and requests for these parking of commercial vehicles. So the solutions we work through, the police department and public works department have met on multiple occasions trying to make sure that we find the way to correct this issue. The enforcement, we're proposing to the solution, we'll start enforcement in January 1st, 2026. We would like to amend the ordinance to establish heavy vehicles with weight rating over 10,000 pounds and more than 2 axles. That's more of a clarification because a lot of heavy-duty trucks weigh over 10,000 pounds. It's more when you get into the multiple axles is more of the commercial vehicles that we're trying to prohibit from parking within the public right-of-way. And then we also want to expand the prohibition of parking heavy vehicles to apply within all city streets, not just adjacent to residential or within residential communities. So we're expanding into city streets, highways, and right-of-ways instead of only the residential. And then we'd like to also prohibit parking on any designated non-privately owned public space. The city just acquired 400 acres of open space. We want to make sure that that's protected from people parking these types of vehicles. And then we have a lot of open space throughout the city, so it's to protect those areas. So the proposed changes, if you look at the Section A, the red are all the changes that the staff is proposing. And then Section B as well, we're striking out a lot of the residential district language. So fiscal impact, there's no additional fiscal impact. We do already have the signage in place at all major entries to the city per this ordinance. If we need to add additional signs in specific hotspots, it's relatively small costs, and we will absorb that through our operations budgets and in our gas tax funds. So recommended action is to introduce an ordinance amending Menifee Municipal Code Title 12, Section 1220-140 to prohibit certain commercial vehicle parking on city streets and highways. And I believe the clerk has something else to add to that recommendation.
Hi, yes, Acting Mayor. Council members, you do have a red line memo with administrative changes just to the whereases clause, as this item was initially public noticed for the October 15th meeting. So we just wanted to clarify that the public hearing was held tonight on that. So when the motion comes, if the council so chooses, please do as amended.
Okay, thank you for your time.
All right, at this time, the City Council can ask questions of staff on the ordinance. Do we have any requests for questions?
One quick question. When you took out on the ordinance, you took out undeveloped private property, you just call it undeveloped property. So I'm going to take it that means whether it's private or public or government or whatever, then they're now off limits to park. Am I assuming the same correctly?
Yeah, you're correct. We have other agencies, like for instance, Southern Cal Edison. They have large easements that are undeveloped properties. We have areas of the city that is owned that's not designated as open space. So we're trying to make sure we capture all undeveloped properties.
Okay, thanks.
Questions? I've just got a couple of follow-up questions. 10,000 pounds, that's the typical weight of a semi-trailer with the cab and the trailer on it?
No, they're more than 10,000 pounds.
They're more than 10,000. Yeah. So the front end, just the cab of a semi-truck without the trailer on it, is that more than 10,000 pounds?
Correct, yeah.
All right. And then
just to give you reference, like an F-250 is over 10,000 pounds.
All right. So basically any commercial vehicle that we're going to see is going to be over 10,000 pounds.
Correct.
And I was just curious about why it says 10,000 pounds and more than 2 axles. Isn't any vehicle with 10,000 pounds or more going to have more than 2 axles?
No, an F-250, a standard F-250 is a 2-axle vehicle, and it weighs over 10,000 pounds. So we want to make sure we're capturing the true commercial vehicles, which are typically 3 axles or more.
That is why I asked. All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, so at this time, I'll open up the public hearing at 7:13 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you confirm this public hearing was legally noticed and if any correspondence has been received?
It was legally noticed and no correspondence has been received.
Do we have any requests to speak?
We do have one public speaker, Mike Knighton.
Welcome, Mr. Knighton.
I wasn't going to talk on this one, but I figured everybody else in here spoke tonight, so I might as well jump in here. Nick, thank you. I think that photo of the Boulders project might have been my photo. I don't know where that came from, but we started this about 5 years ago, so I'm glad to see it finally happening. The one thing I would like to see, first of all, I approve you guys' ordinance, but what I'd like to see is maybe updating the app. There's a couple different places where you can report vehicles, either on police or code enforcement, just so it goes to the right place. Maybe if we have a special tab or something, just on the app. That way, when we see these trucks, I don't have to call Nick or email Nick, and we could just hit a button and it goes right to wherever it goes, whether it's code enforcement or police or public works. However it goes, just, that's it. So, thank you.
Any other public speakers?
No other speakers.
All right, so this is a time where we have opportunity for comments from council members. Would anybody like to comment at this time? No comments. It's pretty straightforward right here, I guess. All right, would anybody like to make a motion?
Acting Mayor, if we can close the public hearing.
Fair enough. I was going to leave it open forever, so discussion can continue ad infinitum, but if I must, I will. We're going to close the public hearing at 7:15 p.m. And would anybody like to make a motion at this time?
I'll move.
Now that it's closed, I'll second it.
Acting Mayor, if I may, introduce the ordinance by the title.
Yes. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce the ordinance?
An ordinance of the City of Menifee, California, amending Menifee Municipal Code, Title 12, Section 12.20.140, to prohibit certain commercial vehicles parking on city streets and highways.
Thank you very much. And the motion is as amended, correct?
Yes, please.
Yes. Who moved? Hit the move button. Second. And that motion passes 4-0. I'll get it eventually, Madam Clerk. Don't worry about it.
I'm here for you.
All right. Item number 11.2 on the agenda, first reading and introduction of an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the Legato Specific Plan Development Agreement. Could I please have Director Hernandez introduce the item?
Thank you. Good evening, Acting Mayor, members of the council. Excited to be here today. This item was a total team effort, and I do want to acknowledge the assistance that we received from community services, from engineering. It was definitely a team effort, but no one more than Molly Binel that assisted us with making sure we got here, because it was an important project for not only the city but for the developers. So I would like to introduce Molly to give us a presentation.
Thank you, Orlando. Good evening, Honorable Acting Mayor and fellow council members. I am pleased to present to you the First Amendment to the Legato Specific Plan Development Agreement. So the Legato project is a 331-acre site in the northeast part of the city between Antelope Road and Chambers Avenue. A little bit of background on the project. In June of 2020, City Council did adopt and approve the Legato Specific Plan with the development agreements and associated tentative track maps for the 1,022 homes as well as the parks. And then in March of 24, Lennar did purchase Phase 1 from BLC Fleming, who is the property owner. Phase 1 includes the northern portion of the project, the east and west parks and paseos, as well as the recreation center site. Phase 2 includes the large community park, and Phase 3, those phases are still currently owned by BLC Fleming, so they are not included as part of this DA amendment that we're going to discuss tonight. So when Lennar purchased Phase 1, they did assume all responsibilities in terms of the DA. And when the DA was adopted, the value of the parks and paseos was estimated to be $3 million. Therefore, the terms of the DA outlined that the developer was required to contribute a maximum amount of $3 million in lieu of constructing those parks and paseos in Phase 1. However, due to drastic inflation, construction of the parks and paseos was delayed. A park bid that was recently conducted by a third party determined that the cost of construction now had inflated to $5.8 million, creating a $2.8 million variance. And per the DA, any cost increase beyond that $3 million threshold requires either a financial contribution from the city or a scaling back of the improvements and amenities. So the city and Lennar worked diligently together to identify fiscal opportunities to close this variance gap in order to maintain the quality of the improvements and amenities and to ensure a defined delivery schedule for those parks and paseos. And by entering into this agreement, the city ensures the parks and amenities will be constructed as designed within the specific plan to the benefit of our residents. So again, phase one includes the neighborhood park on the east side, the paseos along the central corridor, the neighborhood park on the west side, as well as the recreation center site. The construction documents for these sites were originally submitted back in 2022, and they are approved and ready to be issued upon the approval of this DA amendment. And these documents, again, are the original concept designs as outlined in the specific plan. So a little bit about the paseos and parks. The paseos will serve as a major pedestrian corridor along Paseo Legato, and they will provide 8-foot walkways with shade trees and rolling turf areas, entry monuments, and enhanced crosswalks across all roadways. They will feature interactive art stations and fitness stations, evenly distributed on both the east and west sides of the paseo. And the east park is approximately 2 acres and will feature shade structures and a picnic area. And about a third of a mile down the road is the West Park, which is approximately 1.4 acres and will include a music-themed tot lot playground with shade structures and 4 fitness stations. The rec center will adjoin the West Park on the south side and will include a pool with a cabana, spa, covered patio areas, fire pit, barbecue, and picnic tables. And the 2,600 square foot rec center building will feature a small gathering room, kitchen, and restroom facilities. So we did do a little preparation in order to bring this item to the council. On October 2nd, the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission reviewed the Quimby Agreement for the Heritage Village Track. On October 8th, the Planning Commission reviewed this DA amendment. And on October 14th, our Finance Subcommittee reviewed the bond premium waiver for the CFD. And all of the commissions and subcommittees recommended their individual items for approval to the City Council tonight. So again, at the time the DA was originally executed in 2020, the anticipated construction cost for the parks and paseos was valued at $3 million. And then per the existing DA, Lennar would be required to contribute a maximum of $3 million to the city in lieu of construction. And then, since construction, labor, and material costs have increased significantly, the third-party consultant assessed that new cost estimate at $5.8 million, which presents that $2.8 million variance. So the amendment we are presenting today is intended to offset those increased costs through various provisions, and this will ensure the original park and paseo concept designs found in the specific plan are actually brought to fruition. So we're going to go through the provisions one by one. The first one is we're offering to extend the development impact freeze for all lots within phase 1. So when the DA was adopted, a DIF freeze was authorized to be in effect for 7 years, from June of 2020 through July of 2027, after which time the DIF would have step increases over several years. Based on Lennar's construction timeline, it's anticipated that out of the 491 lots in phase 1, only 81 lots will fall outside this current DIF freeze. So we are proposing to extend the DIF freeze to those 81 lots. We are also removing the restroom building from the East Park. Since the East Park is considered to be a neighborhood park and is in close proximity to the homes or surrounding it, it was determined the removal of the restroom building would not have a significant impact on the park's function, and it will also decrease the city's maintenance costs over the years. During the Planning Commission meeting, the Commission did recommend the developer provide infrastructure for a potential future restroom facility to be constructed at the city's discretion. And after speaking to the developer, they have agreed to install that infrastructure for us. We are also reducing the park cost estimate bond contingency from 15% to 5%. This will alleviate some financial strain for the developer without too much significant impact to the city. and we will still maintain a 1-year warranty to minimize any unexpected plant replacement or repair costs at the city's fund. We are also adjusting thresholds for the Park and Paseo completions. While Lennar was ready to begin construction on the West Park and Paseo, the construction of that was stalled while negotiations between the developer and the city took place. So therefore, the developer is requesting to extend the delivery deadline of the West Park from the 140th occupancy to the 200th occupancy. And to compensate for the extended timeline of the West Park, Lennar has proposed to move up the delivery of the East Park and Paseo from the 140th occupancy to the 95th occupancy. Additionally, we are going to include a formal definition of Lennar Phase 1 to ensure that the specific tracks and corresponding lot numbers are very clearly identified throughout the DA document. We have also prepared the first amendment to the acquisition, construction, and funding agreement for the CFD bond premiums. This amendment will waive the normal 20% fee on the financed fees against the CFD fund. This was presented to our finance subcommittee in the middle of October. We also prepared a Quimby agreement for Quimby fee reallocation from the Heritage Village track, which is also being developed by Lennar. This track is located further east from Legato on Menifee Road and Rouse Road. Heritage Village does not have a park included as part of the development, which is why the Quimby contribution was required. And that the proposed Quimby agreement will reallocate those Quimby fees from the city's Quimby fund to the West Park and Paseo construction in Legato. This item was also presented to the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission at the beginning of October. And both the Quimby agreement and the amendment to the acquisition, construction, and funding agreement were as part of tonight's consent calendar for approval. And just to note, if the council chooses not to approve the DA amendment, these agreements will become null and void. We are also accepting POCs at an earlier timeline. So the POCs are the phases of landscape area completion and connections to EMWD. And currently our municipal code states that these areas have a turnover period of 1 year post-construction with a 1-year warranty for plant replacement and repairs. The amendment proposes that this time frame be shortened from a 1-year post-construction turnover to 90 days, while still maintaining the 1-year warranty period. And we analyzed the impact on the CFD this accelerated timeline would have, and the CFD does have the capacity to cover any maintenance expenses with the earlier takeover. And finally, our staff has been working diligently with Lennar to process bond reductions and bond release efforts for completed Lennar developments over the past several months, and we will continue to expedite these exoneration efforts. So this is a financial visual of how the proposed provisions we just discussed will aid in covering that $2.8 million variance. These are the actions the city and Lennar have agreed upon to help close that gap. So with all the proposed provisions, that $2.8 million variance will be reduced to $21,629, which will be covered by Lennar. So this amendment is a cost-effective solution to ensure the timely delivery of high-priority park infrastructure while maintaining the city's fiscal flexibility. And it is in our best interest to move forward with these proposed provisions to ensure the parks and paseos are constructed as originally designed in the specific plan without compromising quality or amenities, and to ensure they are delivered in a timely manner for our residents. So I would ask the council to introduce an ordinance to approve the First Amendment to the development agreement for the Legato specific plan. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Banal. Okay, so does the City Council have any questions for staff on this item? I do have a couple. I just want to make sure, just kind of in summary, my questions for you. So it looks like What would have resulted under the original agreement is the city would have been responsible for paying close to $3 million to get this amenity done to bridge the gap, but because of the creativity of our staff, that gap is now down to $21,000, and Lennar is going to cover, which means no fiscal impact to the city. Am I stating that correctly?
Yes, we will see a little bit of a dip in our Quimby funds because we are allowing them to reallocate those funds from the city's Quimby into the Legato, and we also see a little bit of the park diff that will also be reallocated from the Heritage Village to Legato, but overall, yes.
It will be no impacts to our general fund.
Right, nothing coming out of the general fund. We're not paying anything out of pocket for this change.
Correct.
So, and can you just summarize it? There was a lot of information there about the changes and things like that. I know that we're losing one bathroom from the original plan, right?
That's correct.
Anything else? Is the project being downsized? Are there any amenities being removed, or is that the only concession?
That was the only concession.
I thought he was going to say something else there.
No.
All right. Any other questions or comments from City Council on this item? Councilmember Dinas.
Go for comments. I just want to thank staff for.
Well, this is actually just questions.
Well, you said questions or comments.
On the presentation. You want to say it now? Go ahead. All right. Not comments yet. You know what I mean. You've been doing this longer than I have. All right. So at this time, I will open the public hearing at 7:30. Madam Clerk, can you confirm that this public hearing has been legally noticed and if any correspondence has been received?
This was legally noticed and no correspondence has been received.
And do we have any requests to speak?
There are no public speakers.
Fair enough. Then I will close the public hearing at 7:31. At this time, does any city council have any comments that they would like to present? Councilmember Dinas.
Yeah, I just want to, excuse me, how great it is that the Lennar and staff work together to come up with a pretty creative way to make up that gap. It's a great project. It's very unique. Not to mention that we'll have a community center when it's all finished, and so I appreciate all the effort that the whole team and Lennar put into this to make it work. It was very creative, and I think it was the right thing to do. So thank you.
Councilmember Temple.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. I think it's wonderful when the city has a relationship with the developer that enables both parties to work towards a common goal of developing something. When issues come along that are unavoidable, the city and the developer work together for this outcome. And I think it's a great project that has achieved a very desirable outcome in spite of some of the problems that have come up. So I'm very happy with it.
Any other comments? I just want to also extend a thank you to Lennar for working with our staff on this. You know, the council gets a lot of criticism for working with developers, make it seem like we're not working on behalf of the residents, we're working on behalf of the developers. But building that relationship between the developers and our residents allow us to get a problem like this solved and everybody working together for the betterment of the city. So I want to thank Lennar for working with our staff, and our staff for being so creative to find a solution to that. So that's that's the sound of one person applauding. I've been there. So thank you for that. Any other questions or comments at all? All right, so at this time, I will ask the Madam Clerk, can you please read the ordinance title?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Menifee, California, approving Amendment Number 1 to the Development Agreement Number 2018-277 for the Legato Specific Plan by and between the City of Menifee and Lennar Homes of California, LLC, and BLC Fleming, LLC.
Thank you. Can I ask for a motion and a second on this? Councilmember Dinas moves. I'll second. And that motion passes 4-0. Moving on to our discussion items, number 12.1, reading and introduction of an ordinance adopting by reference the 2025 California Fire Code, 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code, and local amendments. Do you need me to read that again? You guys good? You taking notes? You can go back and watch it. Could I please ask Fire Marshal Sonia Boo to provide a presentation on the item? And Chief Scoville in tow.
I'm just here as a support.
In case she bursts into flames, you're ready to go and jump into action.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Acting Mayor, City Council, residents of the City of Menifee, and city staff. Tonight I'll be going over the 2025 Fire Code and California Wild Urban Interface Code, along with any local amendments as well. Before I continue on, if you do hear me say wooey, I'm referring to the California Wild Urban Interface Code, because that is quite a long title. So if you hear me saying the C wooey or wooey code, that would what I would be referring to. Okay, so on July 1st, 2025, the California released its updated 2025 California codes. The California codes and building code standards are codes that are repeated every 3 years. So this is a 3-year cycle and where the new code would come into place for the 2025. This incorporates standards from the 2024 International Fire Code, and it includes amendments to improve fire prevention and public safety. Especially we'll see the more increased areas of wildfire activity. Again, new to us would be the California Wild Urban Interface Code, which would be the CWUI code. This is a published new book that we have that came out when what it did is it took out Chapter 7A from the California Building Code. And that Chapter 7A has building requirements and what is required in those areas that are in the high fire area. It also took out Section R337, which comes out of the residential code. And again, that would have sections in the residential code that would reference specific standards to building home standards. Chapter 49 of the Fire Code, which gave us the authority in the Fire Code. Chapter 49 went over mitigation measures, vegetation, referred us back to Chapter 7A in the Building Code. And then Title 14, which has the minimum fire safety standards and regulations, which are regulations that come from the Board of Forestry. This newly published WUI consolidates all of those chapters from each of those different books or titles that we have into one new consolidated Wild Urban Interface new code. So this is easier. So it provides a single standard for protecting the communities and wildfire, but it was really, and this code is really intended to be adopted as a supplement to be used with the building and other fire codes. This is consolidated to be kind of a one-stop shop book where we're having not to look in 4 different code sections and 4 different code books and referencing back and forth, but very easy, single, clear standard, and why the California decided to put one new code book together with all those. The California Fire Code, like I did say, is being adopted separately. In August of 2025, Council adopted the building standards codes and by reference. Why we did come a little after the fact and didn't go with building this year or this cycle, we weren't ready with the amendments. And as you know, the building standards had a short period of time in where they needed to adopt. And so this is why you're looking at it separately. Normally we would be adopting together. And again, local amendments here that we would be adopting are designed to enhance City of Menifee's fire resiliency by aligning local codes as well and state mandates that we do have and best practices. When this does become in effect would be January 1st, 2026 statewide. On this, I picked out some of the different requirements that have changed or that we'll see some changes for that were more of the significant changes, but one of our adoptions for would be the fire access road for dual access. That one would be with our adopted ordinances. That one just has 2 separate access roads, like in a larger development, where we're using dual access roads to have 2 separate areas to evacuate or leave, so that we don't have trigger points and we're just using one main entrance into a development. The fire sprinklers, again, is one of the amendments to the code, but this one might require a little bit of retrofitting, but this would be more specific for a large commercial or a large development where they're going to retrofit a building, having no sprinklers or adding more than 5,000 square feet to a building, where sprinklers would then be required to be in place, more for safety. The next one we have is the defensible space, which is new WUI standards. So again, with that, meaning that the removal or vegetation of flammable vegetations and maybe lots that we've seen that did have some type of HOA standards in place for vegetation, and they haven't kept to it, but we're able to go back out and say, hey, those vegetation is really old, it needs to be removed and in place. So that would be for the new defensible space for in those new standards. The water supply and hydrants as well in those wild urban interface subdivisions, in order to meet more public safety requirements, we've then increased the minimum fire flow in that to 1,500 GPMs, and that's just to maintain the infrastructure that we have there for water and that water is available. Fire command centers, which we do already have in place, but more, it just changed its clarity, but for large scale projects, to have a dedicated command center. So sometimes we're seeing now these million square foot buildings and there's a lack of communication or command centers in there. So that has been cleared up in language as well. We do have commercial cooking and food trucks. The new hood systems must be connected to a fire alarm. Right now, that is not a requirement. So it would be, if you did install a brand new hood system, that it would be connected to the fire alarm system that is on site. And as well as the mobile food vendors, that one is just ensuring that if those vendors are out on our facilities or our events, that those are being serviced, those hood systems are cleaned, and just like what we would do, the same type of inspection for our commercial kitchens as well. Another amendment that we did have was the fireworks and explosives. So we've expanded our minimum safety zone. Our fallout zone currently is 75, and we've increased it now to 100 feet. And that's just to be more consistent with the standard and all the other cities and counties that surround us. Is a common number is 100 feet for safety zones. And the last and final one would be the WUI fire standards now applies to all the fire hazard severity zones, including moderate. So those zones that you would see in very high, high, and now moderate would all fall within those WUI standards. And again, just to close up here, the commitment to protect life, property, and natural resources, and how we get there is by having a stronger fire resilience. Our commitment to update water access construction site standards to keep a safer community. Align with all the state mandates that we have, and it would be to be more clear and consistent and to enforce the same standards. And to support residents and businesses and transparent expectations. And these changes here aim to protect and to create safer communities, safeguard properties, and to ensure that our communities are better prepared for future fire events. And that's it. Do I have questions?
Thank you very much. I see first up in the queue is our Assistant City Manager, Brian Jones.
We just wanted to thank the fire department for working with us on this. We are going to continue to work with Chief Pemberton at Riverside County and Chief Weiser. Some of these changes are a one-size-fits-all from the state of California, and they're not going to align with some of our community values and needs. As far as, with septet design, we like to put landscaping around the homes so that it protects people from going through our windows. But now there's a 5-foot concrete barrier around homes. And so we're gonna have to figure out, working through the crime prevention, through design with our police department, on how to make sure our residents can do those kind of things. Some of the wider streets we're gonna often hear the fallout of faster speeds in our residential streets. And so we're gonna have to come up with more creative ways as the fire department is dictating how big our roadways need to be in our residential streets. Our streets may get faster, and so we might get complaints for speed enforcement in our neighborhoods, or feeling of unsafety for our children playing and are walking to schools. And so we're going to be working through a number of those different things and then they're also removing a number of tree requirements around homes in areas, and so it could impact our urban forest as well as our heat element and our urban heat element. So we're working through a lot of those things because it was done in one discipline and not collaborative with planners and engineers in that way. And so we really, in the police department, so we really want to work on a few of these things so we can enhance these things. But for the most part, this is all really good stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. City Council, any questions for staff at this point? None? I just have a couple of quick questions. Are any of these changes going to require additional staffing on the part of CAL FIRE or your fire marshal's office in order to implement them?
Not at this time.
Okay, so it seems like most of these changes are the burden on the consumer because they need to make those changes. But for us, the inspection capability is the same.
Correct.
We don't need any new equipment or technology to conduct this type of testing.
That's correct.
All right, I understand. Thank you. All right. Oh, Councilmember Dennis, yes.
There's a lot of information here, but does it apply to residences? I mean, what about our residents now that are in their homes? Does it impact them at all?
Depending, it could be let's just say, for instance, we're adding additions to a home that exceeds 5,000 square feet, so a big home, and maybe it didn't have sprinklers in there, and they might need to retrofit that. It might mean that they're in a high fire area and they want to build a deck or some kind of balcony or patio in the backyard. Then those requirements within those 7A standards would be required to have that fire resistant construction be built in the back of those homes. So things like that, yes, in the residential. It could be that they have to maintain we talked about vegetation in that. So it might mean they need to abate or maybe remove some type of old vegetation there. So those what I would expect to see on a residence.
So that'd only be if they do some kind of a modification or improvements on the home. If you don't change your home at all, then that really doesn't affect you then as
That's
a homeowner?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? No. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No requests.
All right, so at this time, City Council is free to make any comments. Anything that we want to add on this? Madam Clerk, can you please read the ordinance title?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Menifee, California, replacing Chapter 8.20 of the Menifee Municipal Code and adopting by reference the 2025 California Fire Code, and adding Chapter 8.21 to the Menifee Municipal Code, and adopting by reference the 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code, including all of which comprise the Fire and Wildland Urban Code of the City of Menifee.
I get a competition, it looks like. Can I get a motion and a second to introduce the ordinance and set the public hearing for November 19th?
I'll move.
In a second? That item passes 4-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 12.2, 2026 City Council meeting calendar. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce the item?
Good evening, Acting Mayor and City Council. My name is Stephanie Racine, City Clerk. So this evening, we're bringing an annual item back to the Council to review the calendar for City Council meetings for 2026. Each year, we bring this item forward to provide the Council an opportunity to look ahead for the upcoming year and discuss any potential meeting conflicts or cancellations in advance. This review helps staff plan for agenda preparation, project scheduling, and public noticing in advance. Historically, the council has canceled the first meeting in January due to the proximity of the New Year's holiday, and the first meeting in July, as many cities and regional agencies typically go dark for the summer months. Council has the prerogative to make any other adjustments and cancellation of other meetings or choosing to go dark for a month. If needed, a special meeting may be called during the year to address any time-sensitive matters that may arise. So tonight, staff is requesting the council review the proposed 2026 meeting dates and provide direction on whether to move forward with any cancellations or changes for next year's schedules. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Council members, do we have any questions for our staff or city clerk? Just so I can understand here, in the staff report, there are 2 dates here that are specified. Are those the ones recommended by staff that we might want to change?
Those are the 2 historically council has canceled, so those are the 2 that we were bringing forward.
First one in January due to the proximity of the New Year's, and July 1st due to proximity of July 4th.
Correct.
I understand. All right, those are the questions that I have. Do we have any requests to speak?
There are none.
There are none. Council, any comments on this? Anybody have any input on it? Anybody have any objections to it? Anybody want to add council meetings to any of these agendas? I mean, we can add council meetings if you want. No? Okay. Well then, I don't think there's no vote necessary. Oh, City Manager Villa has chimed in.
So the dates that you've gotten, Council, are the minimum dates, but there was a suggestion earlier today, and I did check with staff this morning about the possibility of going dark for the month of July or August, just so that we can allow for the council to take a vacation during the summer or the staff to take a vacation, but that's your prerogative if you choose to.
So my question in going dark, planning now to go dark for the entire month of July, we're bursting at the seams in development and applications and things like that. Is that going to set us back at all? I mean, can we anticipate that far in advance that?
I think having a calendar and having plenty of lead time to prepare for that, we could manage. Usually we'll probably have a lot of reports coming to you in June, and then the first meeting in August, a whole bunch of other reports, but we can work around that.
So yeah, my question would be, are the June meetings going to go till 11 p.m. because we've got to get everything done since we're not going to be here in July?
Could be. And then, like the city clerk said, if there's something that's urgent and pending, we can always, call a special meeting. But it's totally your prerogative.
See, Councilmember Diedrich, why don't you go ahead?
I just have a question. Have we historically done that before? Have we gone dark for an entire month in the summer? Because not in my time, I haven't noticed that. But
We have in the past had where we went dark for all of July.
Long ago past, right?
More than 8 years ago.
So what I was going to say to that end is I would just as soon say, hey, as we get close to July, if there's nothing coming, cancel a meeting. I wouldn't mind revisiting that in, June or May to say, hey, looks like we have a soft week here. Maybe we could cancel that one also, and we could revisit it then. But to cancel it now, I think that I don't know if I'd feel super comfortable with that. Anybody have any comments on that? So my recommendation would be that we cancel these 2 meetings and leave the rest as is, and we can revisit later then, rather than add a meeting back. We can cancel one if it turns out to be super soft. Is everyone on board with that? So I guess that's consensus. That would be the recommendation of the council.
Thank you.
All right, item number 13, city attorney reports.
Nope, don't want to break my streak. Thanks, Mayor.
Item number 14, Mr. City Manager, do you have anything to report?
No reports.
Any future agenda requests from council members? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at 7:53.